Story 1. The Figure at Midnight, Black Forest, Germany. At 2:13 a.m., something hit the side of my car. I froze, my hands gripping the steering wheel as the headlights struggled through the dense fog on the Black Forest highway in Germany. The forest around me was completely silent, except for the soft rustle of leaves and the distant howl of the wind. I thought it was a branch, but then again, tap, tap, tap. Something knocked against the passenger window. My heart raced and I slowly turned my head. There it was. A tall, slender figure standing motionless in the fog, its face hidden, but its eyes glowing red, unblinking, fixed on me. I swallowed hard, trying to convince myself it was a trick of the light or my imagination, but the figure took a step closer and the fog seemed to bend around it unnaturally. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my knuckles white, and glanced at the rearview mirror. Nothing unusual there. I told myself to breathe, to just drive past it, but the creature didn't move off the road. The headlights reflected off its skin, which was pale, almost gray, and stretched across joints that didn't bend normally. My car engine sputtered suddenly, as if the vehicle itself sensed the danger. I pressed the accelerator, but the fog thickened, swallowing the light, and the figure was still there. I considered stopping, locking the doors, calling for help, but my phone showed no signal. A whisper floated through the air, soft but unmistakable. "Come closer." And I felt a chill crawl up my spine. The figure didn't speak like a human. Its voice twisted and layered, alternating between a high-pitched whisper and a deep growl. I turned to look again and realized it wasn't just the one figure. Shadows moved behind the trees, forming shapes that shouldn't exist. Limbs bending backward, faces half human, half animal, eyes glowing in the mist. I tried to start the car again. The engine coughed and died. The temperature dropped, my breath forming clouds inside the vehicle, and the tapping on the window became rhythmic, deliberate, almost mocking. I thought of reversing, but the figure moved faster than physics should allow, appearing instantly in front of the car. Panic surged and my foot slammed the accelerator. Tires skidded on the wet asphalt, but the car seemed to move slower than normal, like something invisible was holding it back. The figure ran alongside the car, its movements unnatural, limbs twisting and elongating in ways that defied logic. It whispered my name again, but the voice changed mid-word into my mother's voice, soft and calm, then morphed into someone I didn't know. My vision blurred, fog seeping into my eyes as if the forest itself wanted me to disappear. The headlights flickered and went out. Complete darkness surrounded me. Then came the scratching, long and sharp, dragging across the glass, echoing inside the car. I covered my ears, screamed, and slammed the doors shut, but the car shook violently. I turned on the emergency lights, and for a fleeting second, I saw it inside the vehicle, standing silently behind the passenger seat, its glowing eyes boring into my soul. I tried to speak, to scream, but no sound came out. It bent forward slowly, tilting its head in a way that human bones should never allow, and whispered, "You shouldn't have come." The car jolted forward, engine restarting by itself, and I drove as if possessed by adrenaline alone, heart hammering, eyes darting to every shadow. Every turn of the road revealed more figures lurking in the fog, just outside the reach of my headlights, moving closer with impossible speed. Occasionally I caught glimpses of distorted reflections in the side mirrors, my own face stretched, eyes blackened, a twisted grin staring back at me. I dared not blink, dared not take my eyes off the road. My hands trembled as I gripped the wheel, every sound amplified. The faint snapping of twigs, the wind rushing past, whispers overlapping and layering into a cacophony of terror. Minutes felt like hours, yet the forest seemed endless, fog never thinning. Then, out of nowhere, a faint voice whispered from the passenger seat, "Look behind you." I froze, unwilling to obey, but curiosity or fear forced me to glance. The rearview mirror reflected a figure I could not recognize, tall, shadowy, with glowing red eyes, standing where the back seat should have been empty. My vision tunneled, heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. Then the creature screamed, or perhaps I screamed in unison with it, an inhuman sound that pierced my ears. The fog swirled violently around the car, and the engine cut off again. Everything was still. I sat frozen, waiting for what I dared not imagine. The tapping resumed, lighter this time, almost gentle, on the roof, on the hood, on the doors. Slowly, I realized the fog had cleared enough to see the road again. Morning light, faint but real, began to filter through the trees. I slowed, pulling to the side, desperate to get away. I dared to step out. The road was empty. No footprints, no creature. Nothing but wet leaves and the faint scent of iron. My hand shook as I looked back at my car, and in the rearview mirror, reflecting the morning light, glowing red eyes stared back. I didn't stay to question it. I drove off, never looking back. But even now, when I pass that stretch of the Black Forest Highway, sometimes, in the fog, I swear I see the same eyes, waiting, unblinking, patient. And I know that one day, they might just come from me. Story 2. The Shadow in Lyon, France. It was a quiet night in Lyon, the kind where even the streetlights seem hesitant to shine. I sat on the couch, heart hammering, listening to the footsteps circling outside. The shadows of the trees moved unnaturally, stretching long over the pavement, and I felt an icy chill run down my spine. Every few seconds, a faint scratching sound echoed on the wooden shutters, as if someone or something was testing my home's defenses. I grabbed my phone, the screen illuminating the room in a pale glow. The signal flickered, a single notification appeared. A message from an unknown number. "Don't open the door if you hear your name." My blood ran cold. The whisper came again, but this time inside my apartment, soft, almost seductive, repeating my name in a voice I recognized yet couldn't place. I froze, listening intently, my breath catching in my throat. Slowly, I crept to the window, peering through the blinds, and saw nothing. But the shadows outside seemed to shift of their own accord, bending and stretching across the cobblestones like living tendrils. I took a step back and felt the floorboards creak, even though I had been standing still. Then came the faintest knock on my front door. Tap, tap, tap. The sound resonated in the still night, and I felt a strange compulsion to answer it. My hands shook as I reached for the doorknob. Before touching it, I glanced at the living room mirror. The reflection was wrong. There was a figure behind me, tall, thin and grotesque, its face obscured by shadows. The eyes glowed a dull yellow. I spun around, heart racing, but the room was empty. My rational mind told me it was exhaustion, stress, hallucination. But the scratching on the walls, the whispering voice, the moving shadows disagreed. The temperature plummeted, and I could see my breath curling in the air. The lights flickered violently, plunging the apartment into moments of pitch darkness. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, speaking words I couldn't understand but somehow recognized. My secrets, my fears, things I had never shared. I tried calling someone, anyone, but the phone displayed no signal. I reached for the knife in the kitchen drawer, my hand trembling, as footsteps echoed behind me. Not outside, inside. They circled me, slow and deliberate, never touching, never approaching, just circling. The mirror reflection now smiled at me, but the smile wasn't mine. It was distorted, grotesque, elongated, with blackened eyes. Panic surged, and I ran to the bedroom, locking the door. The whispers followed. Then came a soft voice, coaxing, "You can't hide forever." Furniture shifted subtly, chairs tilting, objects moving slightly, as if unseen hands were testing me. I grabbed my phone again, shining the flashlight, scanning the room. In a corner, a shadow crouched unnaturally, limbs bent backward, face half human, half animal, staring at me. "Ah!" I screamed, but no sound emerged. The shadow flickered and disappeared. Silence fell, oppressive and heavy, only broken by the occasional scratching sound on the walls. I forced myself to calm down, thinking of rational explanations, but the fear had rooted itself deep. Then, the front door slowly creaked open. No wind, no human presence. The whisper came once more, now directly behind me, almost tickling my ear. "Come with me." I spun around, knife raised, but the room was empty. The shadows on the walls began to move again, forming shapes that were impossible. Human faces twisted, animal-like limbs, glowing eyes staring from every corner. I bolted to the window, trying to escape, but the street below was empty. The shadow moved outside, crouching on the pavement, watching, waiting. The night stretched endlessly. Hours passed, though time seemed suspended. The fog rolled in from the Rhone, and the shadow disappeared for a moment, only to reappear closer, its gaze piercing through the glass. Then, as dawn approached, everything stopped. The shadows vanished. The whispers ceased. The temperature returned to normal. The apartment looked untouched, as if nothing had happened. But in the mirror, the faintest image remained. Glowing yellow eyes, a smile not my own, and a lingering whisper that echoed in my mind, even as sunlight began to filter through the blinds. "I'll see you again." Story 3. The Passenger on the Tuscan Road, Italy. A man was standing in the middle of the road. As I approached, his face began to change. Something unnatural. My car's headlights barely illuminated the fog. I slowed down, unsure whether to stop. Driving through the Tuscan countryside at night, the fog was thick, clinging to the rolling hills and cypress trees like a living blanket. The road ahead seemed endless, winding and empty. I thought it was unusual to see anyone at this hour, yet there he was. A man standing motionless, almost statue-like, in the middle of the road. I slowed the car, curiosity mixed with unease, and as I got closer, his face shifted. One moment human, the next something wrong. Skin stretched oddly, eyes glinting unnaturally, mouth twisting. My foot hovered over the brake, but instinct told me to keep driving, keep moving past him. That's when he stepped aside. Or did he? My headlights revealed that he was no longer where I had seen him. Somehow he was closer, standing at the edge of the fog, his glowing eyes tracking me. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white. The air inside the car grew cold. The radio flickered, static bursts forming almost whispering sounds, voices calling my name. Suddenly, the passenger door creaked. I looked over. It was open. No one had touched it, yet it was ajar. Then I saw him inside the car, impossibly silent, crouched in the passenger seat, limbs bending unnaturally. He didn't speak, but his eyes had a knowledge of me that no human could possess. I tried to reverse, but the car wouldn't move, the engine stuttering as if resisting me. The whispers grew louder, echoing inside my head. Drive. Don't stop. Come closer. The landscape outside twisted subtly. Trees elongated, shadows warped, road bends seemed impossible. My mind screamed for logic, but fear ruled. Every mirror reflected not just me, but a distorted version. Eyes black, face stretched, grin crooked and unhuman. I slammed the brakes, tires screeching against the asphalt. The creature leaned closer, its breath icy, whispering secrets I had never told anyone. I tried to scream, but my voice failed. The windshield fogged from inside. A handprint appeared slowly, pale and cold, moving toward me. Then came the climax. The figure shifted violently, half human, half beast, stretching across the car. My vision tunneled, reality fractured. In a desperate attempt, I pressed the accelerator. The car lurched forward, engine roaring, fog dissipating slightly. When I finally stopped at the next village, morning breaking over the hills, the passenger seat was empty. No door opened, no figure, only the lingering chill and the faint smell of iron. I looked in the rearview mirror, and there it was, glowing eyes, staring, waiting. I drove off, never daring to glance back. Even now, years later, when the fog rolls over the Tuscan hills at night, I swear I see those same eyes, unblinking, patient, knowing.